Well, what's the crack? Jesus Christ, we got there, lads. Welcome to episode 87 of Buckshot. For Sunday, oddly enough. Sunday, the 2nd of December. Jesus Christ, I got it end. For 2018. How in the Christ and Jesus are you? Oh, Jesus Christ. I know I'm late. I'm like 2.5, 3 days late nearly with this one. But did you ever have 36 hours of just litany of shitty things happening and just getting in the way? I'll explain all to you on the old Ramble Pod on Tuesday. But yeah, a dose. I won't bother you with it today. Just one bit of dose after another. Christ and Christ above. But we'll move on quickly. Patreon, fair play to you, everybody. Thank you very much. There will be a Tom and Jerry show going up today with this one. That'll be exclusive to you over on Patreon. So, like that, if you have been thinking about it, all those episodes are exclusive to Patreon. So, if you do feel like signing up, go ahead. Have a look at the old link in the description. And, yeah, it's only, I think its minimum is $3 a month they allow, I think. I don't set it. I set it at the minimum and it came up at $3. So, whatever that is in euros or pounds or whatever, it's not a lot, but it goes towards the old podcast and it helps with see, this is the thing, hunting down guests and stuff like that and all these kind of things. Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, never mind. Or if you prefer to contribute just by getting something physical yourself, go to the T Republic shop and pick out whatever you like in the way of the logos and all the stuff. There's some new gear there's actually some new designs after going up there from kind of older things that I did and stuff with comedy. Have a gander, see if you like it. That's pretty cool for t-shirts and stuff like that. Like I said, there'll be a Tom and Jerry show one going up today for any of the Patreons. But if you just want something physical, even if it's only stickers, go over to the old T Republic shop there and have a gander at the logos and stuff like that. Also, just a heads up, if anybody's listening on SoundCloud, if you're actually a SoundCloud subscriber, be getting ready. Go find it on some other app right now. Go find it. Go to the podcast app, which works perfect. Go to the podcast app or go to wherever Podbean, it's on Spotify, whatever you're on, go ahead and subscribe to that because I'm going to be changing providers fairly soon from SoundCloud to something else. It'll be over the next couple of weeks, but I'll be getting a skedaddle because moving with the times, lads, moving with the times. SoundCloud have been good to me and all the rest of it, but look, it's time to move on. But once you're on any other type of app, don't worry. You'll be grand. It'll still be fed to you, but it'll be the case that if it's SoundCloud won't be the base where these things go in first. Anyway, that's enough of that shite. Jesus Christ. Moving on to today's guest. Today's guest is we explained kind of where we met, gigging and all the rest of it, but we're in the panto together. She is star of TV. She had her own TV show with her name in it and everything, so you can't really, there's no better way of staying current if you have your name. We talk about this with Carl Spain, and Carl Spain finds a woman and Carl Spain wants to, same with Katherine. Essentially putting your name into the TV show is what you need to do, hence why it's called Tom O'Mahony's Buckshot, in case somebody there's not a ton of buckshots to be got, so it's alright. But she's done a ton of stage stuff. Like, she's been performing. Like, there's some of the cool stories she has about where she actually worked and stuff like that earlier on. It sounds like something out of like 1980s or 1960s London or something. It was just, what? Ridiculously cool. She was on Dancing with Stars as well. She was at Operation Transformation. But more importantly, she's in Snow White, the Panto, and she's the evil queen. And we have a couple of scenes together. So do you know what? This one is a really, really enjoyable chat. Chatted, actually, we were on the fly so much. I explain where we are and everything. It's you can kind of get a sense of what's going to be coming next week, of the disaster stories that I have for you next week. But you know what? This is a really enjoyable chat. You're going to enjoy it too. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy Katherine Lynch. Wait, I'd love to say this is my first time doing a podcast in the car, but this is actually, it's not too bad. We're in the independent car park. Thank you very much, Katherine, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Are we on?
We're on, yeah.
Hey!
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
This is the thing, that's the beauty of podcasting. It's in no way radio-y, so you don't have,
Yeah.
So, here we have, it's nothing.
Yeah.
It's a conversation that people are listening in on. That's the beauty of it. Oh, don't worry. Even if the phone goes off in the middle of it, people love that shit. They love that kind of stuff. Like, and you can curse and swear like a sailor. Mostly people that listen to mine are the sort of people that curse and swear a lot anyway.
Like,
you know?
sailors are listening. That's
yeah.
nice.
There are actually, yeah, we do. It's funny. You never know where this is going to end up. Like, there's people in Bermuda listen to this.
No way.
I need to meet these people. Like, who in Bermuda would be listening to some Tipperary bollocks? Like,
you're not a bollocks, Tom.
Yeah, I know. We're only working together a handful of days, Kath.
I know. So listen, I'm actually a bit confused because this is on now because I'm so used to radio, which is really.
I know, and
really,
I'm loving how you're.
It's kind of like
disconcerting, isn't it? It's
I'm
weird,
waiting
isn't it?
for the red light to just go on and say you're on now, Catherine, and then my voice changes to this. Hi, Tom. How are you? Thanks for having me.
No, none of that.
Working.
None of that stuff. You know,
so
that's the
relaxed.
beauty of, and that people don't want that. They turn on the radio if they wanted to listen to that.
Exactly.
But instead, what people typically do, they Bluetooth to their radio podcasts.
Yeah.
And they just go, no, I prefer to listen to a funny conversation between two people, like rather than listening to, somebody where the advertisers are driving everything that they.
Exactly.
Like how this comes about, because obviously you're thinking of doing a podcast.
Well, I'm here to advertise Cavan Cola.
Cavan Cola?
Yes.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, I'm going to bring it back.
Now, was there a thing, like, do you remember Football Special?
Football Special, I do remember. What was
it was
that
a pop
about?
as well, and Jerry McBride, who's from Monaghan now, he'd be your other side, but he'd be a border county like you.
Yeah.
I never had Football Special growing up, but he
No.
did say Cavan Cola.
Cavan Cola was as thick as treacle and it had a head on it. So if you went to, I used to think I probably was identifying as a boy at the time, but when I went to the mart with my father,
I was identifying as a boy.
Yeah.
I was just a bit of a tough young one, as what you were.
Tough young one. So I used to get a Cavan Cola beside his pint of Guinness, and it looked like a small half a Guinness.
That is adorable.
Yeah, so Dad would have a pint of Guinness and I'd have a Cavan Cola, and I'd sit with my elbow on the counter, identifying as a tomboy.
We talked. Actually, do you know what? I hadn't even. See, this is the beauty of no structure. But we were briefly chatting yesterday because we are in the. Because I'll intro this beforehand, but we're in the panto obviously together, and we were talking about your show briefly, and I said because obviously your two most famous characters were Sheila and Bernie, but my favorite character, because I suppose it's like everything. What speaks to you was the young one who lived with Mammy.
Oh, lived with Mammy.
What was her name?
Liz Hurley. She was a closet
Liz
lesbian
Hurley,
who lived with her mother, and she was very confused, very sexually confused, and she liked girls, but she didn't know why. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. And my favourite phrase is when she's coming out the door of that pub. What was it?
That door of feckin' ate you.
I love it because it's exactly. I remember it. I know, like in my head, I went, well, that's exactly who I was thinking. Yeah, there's a girl I went to school who wore links and got her hair cut in the barbers and would punch you in the shoulder in the morning. Like,
good for her, actually. Well, she was. Everybody, it's funny enough about my characters, everyone goes, are you doing my friend Sarah from wherever? And I went, no, I don't know Sarah from wherever, but everybody knows a Liz Hurley, because I think, I suppose that's what it's like when you're doing stereotypical characters, even though if you were to describe Liz without showing her aesthetically, you wouldn't believe she existed. Do you know, but she does exist.
Oh, totally. Like GA jersey on.
Yeah.
Making sandwiches for
Honda 50.
The Honda. I forgot about the Honda 50.
Oh my God, I loved that Honda 50. I so became her when I was on the Honda 50.
Did you?
It's the nicest thing to drive. Have you
They're
ever...
class.
Oh,
they are class. You can see why people hang on to them. Like,
oh my God, yeah.
Imagine you flying around Dublin in your Honda 50.
I would love it, but it'd be robbed.
I was just going to say it'd be robbed. They're so classic. Like, they'd be actually robbed.
Whole horribleness of inner city Dublin. You can't have anything nice because it'll be robbed. I had a little moped for about a half an hour and it was robbed. Well, I had it for about 2 months and it was robbed.
Was it?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Have you, like, when did you move to Dublin? Like, how long back was it?
I moved to Dublin, oh my God, I'm 25 years in Dublin.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, big time. I have always lived in Dublin. I love Dublin. It owes me nothing. It's a city that I've seen rise and fall and fight and, retreat. And it's a great city. It really has a great spirit. At the moment, it's a tough place to live. Because when I came here first, it was great. You could pay your rent. You could actually, I had a residency in Pantybar, which is, well, it was Gubu at the time. It's now Pantybar. And I paid my rent and I had a few drinks and I had a lifestyle out of that. But I can't imagine anyone being able to do that now with the rents.
Off one gig?
Yeah, off one gig.
Not a hope.
Well, 1 or 2 gigs. Like
Yeah. But like...
Not a hope.
Jesus Christ. What was your residency? Were you singing?
No, it was called Busty's G-Spot, would you believe?
Oh
And
my God.
I was identifying as a drag queen in those years. And I was Busty's G-Spot.
Was there other drag queens pissed off at you because you were actually a woman? Like,
Not at all. It was all a bit of fun. All
Good.
the drag queens are great pals of mine. And I won Alternative Miss Ireland, which is normally...
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and normally drag queens win that or compete in that, but it's also an open door for anyone. You can be in an Alternative Miss Ireland and be a sheep if you like.
What was Busty's G-Spot then? Was it as a
Busty's
Busty's
Justice. That was the tame version on a Tuesday night. The previews. Busty's G-Spot was a drag show, cabaret show.
Okay.
So you had everything from burlesque dancers to comedians, singers,
Lovely.
jugglers. I started the show on the bar to the Eye of the Tiger and walked down the bar in high heels. And when I look at that bar now, I go, how the hell did I do that?
So what was the get-up like?
The get-up was Busty. She was an adult entertainment movie star.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, she was the Duchess of Deliciousness, the girl who put the tit into titillating, the heart into hard on, and the cock into any cock'll do.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
Jesus Christ.
she was very end of the pier kind of
Oh, I
drag
love
humour,
that.
and I loved it. And she was a foot fetish model in LA, and she had to come home to Dublin. She lived on Thomas Street. She had to come home to Dublin because she got a verruca. So her career, and I was right in the middle of There's No Business Like Toe Business.
Oh my
Yes.
good fuck.
She was.
I want to see this show. Can we bring this character back?
I know, she was great fun, absolutely. And I had loads of characters I played in that cabaret that didn't make it to television because they were too politically incorrect even
Really?
then. And so I used to play Dana's best friend who took an acetab with her back in the 70s called
To Dana.
Aina Nigaina and her tin of tuna. And she'd sing songs about all the other people in the business, like Enya, sail away, sail away, sail away, and don't come back in your right nut job.
Say hello to your castle in Dalkey, yeah.
Exactly. So so that all that fun was happening way back then in the residency days.
How did you? Was it? Had you done arts in college, or what was the crack? How did you end
I
up?
went to Bull Alley.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I
All
went to
right.
Bull Alley. Nobody ever admits that, do they?
No, I didn't. I didn't go to any performance school.
Actually,
like that.
a few people went to the Bull Alley. Tommy Tiernan went to Bull Alley. I did. A few other comedians did as well.
Right.
But you had to have a sense of humour to go to it in the first place.
Why? What was wrong with Bull Alley?
Well, you know what, Bull Alley was great because it was just a step above being on the dole. It was like a scheme. But I do have to say we got great training because it was a working man's club for actors, really. So you got good training, as in you were churning out shows rather
Right,
than
yeah,
learning about the Greeks and what they did with art. And I mean, which is all very interesting, but it doesn't really get you a job.
No,
you know,
nobody's going to buy that down the Panty Bar or whatever.
Yeah,
or was it Gubu at the time?
Gubu.
Jesus Christ! And so you went from then to, and was that a conscious decision? Or you just,
to be honest,
how did it come about that you went? Like, was that your first, let's say, paid gig in Panty Bar?
Well, basically, I was in Bull Alley and I was working in a little cafe called Small Talk, which was a gay cafe, and very decadent at the time. I was there when Lady Diana died, and the place went into floods of tears. I was there for a lot of iconic moments.
A lot of colourful people, I would imagine.
Yeah, it was a late night place, and it was like full of people in the industry as such,
right.
Whether they were waiters, whether it was Bono coming in after a gig, whether it was, Boyzone to come in and sit in the fridge inside and we'd give them chips, or whoever was in the scene at the time. Naomi Campbell was in there once.
Stop.
Yeah, Naomi Campbell and who else? All those models and everyone who was over in the Clarence, and it was kind of the first wave of the Celtic Tiger, and everyone, so it was great fun, and it was great crack because all us waiters on the floor performed. So we turn
the
music on, and Shirley Temple Bar and myself were the waiters at one
right.
stage.
Okay.
And we do Gene Buckneys and Michael Flatfeet. We turn off the music. Shirley come out dancing, and I'd come out as Michael Flatley. And yeah, so we just had great fun. One night, Quentin Tarantino came in.
Stop.
And there was, you see, this lull time in the night where it was from after the pub.
Yeah.
And it was the first time that kind of the clubs went on till 3. Or no, sorry, the pubs went on till... Oh no, sorry, the pubs would close at 11:30 and then you go to a club. Do you remember those days?
Yeah.
Well, there was a little lull time from about 2:30 to 3:30 before the crowd came back. We'd open till 7 o'clock in the morning.
Stop. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, I was there preparing all the tables, and a knock came on the door because we weren't quite open yet for the club, the revelers as they were called.
Yeah.
So this big tall man was standing there, and this lovely beautiful girl, and I recognised the tall man and I recognised the girl, and it turns out it was Marina Sorvino.
Jesus.
With him, and it was Quentin. And I said, I know you from somewhere, don't I? And she laughed and he laughed, and I went, oh my God, you're Quentin Tarantino. And he said, yeah. And I went, there's nobody here yet, but come on. And he says, we're looking for a drink. And I went, yeah, grand. At that time we were illegal, so we used to serve whiskey in teapots. So
Stop.
he thought this was hilarious. It's totally Tarantino place to
Yeah.
be. So I filled up we had cheap whiskey we used to get, and we filled it full of the teapots full of it, and 2 cups and saucers. So I gave them that, and they thought it was hilarious. But I gave them loads because I wanted them to stay.
Yeah, it's Quentin Tarantino.
Drunk. So cut to a scene where Shirley Temple Bar is doing the river dance in crutches. And I'm singing Caledonia. Marina Sorvino is crying her eyes out, going, this is such a sad song about emigration. And we're like, get over yourself, we're just having the crack.
Relax, Martina.
Relax.
Or Marina.
Yeah, so that's we met Tarantino, and I have, to all the cool cats at Small Talk, poster from him, which I still have.
Really?
Yeah.
That's class. It's a wonder it didn't end up in a movie somewhere, like, because it's so quirky. Like, that's...
It is so quirky. I'd say Kill Bill is all about us.
Oh, the murder and stuff. Yeah.
Seriously, Kill Bill was like, that was out afterwards, and I was wondering, I actually was, like, you could completely deluded, looking to see, was there any inspiration he got from Small Talk in there? But yeah, no, not really. But it was it was kind of gang stuff. We were all a bunch of subculture people.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
All hanging around together. So I'd say he was inspired in some way. He'd have to have been.
Do you know what? I would go as far as say he was definitely inspired.
Yeah.
There we go. It's just, but you know what? Like, you hear those stories, and those are nearly like London style stories where you hear that, because you don't hear of those kind of places at all. Like, these days, certainly. Anyway, there's nothing gets past the man nowadays. But I mean, you were serving dirty whiskey inside in teapots. Like, that was quality. Like,
quality stuff, and DJs, and there was the usual, you can get every drug you wanted there. Like,
yeah, of course
I didn't participate, but I didn't wink there. But but like there was everything available, and it was just those days.
But you know what? Even if you weren't participating, wasn't it nice to know that the freedom was there to, if you needed a pharmaceutical of some sort, it was there to be had.
It was there to be had.
You didn't need the red tape of.
It was totally decadent. It was mad. I would love to snap back in there just for an hour and see, was it really as brilliant as my mind has organised it into its fabulous file.
But that is a nice, entry into things, because you hear so many people that, like, obviously it's acting of any sort is a hard out slog, like,
yeah.
But isn't it class, like, that you have that, you know what I mean? You had that period at, even at when you were just learning the ropes and having the crack, you were able to have and you were getting paid.
And I was getting paid. And you know what? When I look, I just thought I was a bit mad, and everyone probably thought I was a bit mad too. But now when I look at the whole Me Too movement and the whole raising the feminist, I'm kind of going, I had a great time, because I was hanging around with the kind of movement, which it became the movement. A lot of raising the feminist women were women I hung around with in Small Talk at the time, or the marriage equality was people I was hanging around with at the time, and we were kind of all part of a peaceful protest that we didn't really know we were part of. But then the Main Street, what was going on in mainstream theatre now just was so awful. Like, there was a lot of bullying going on. There was a lot of snobbery. I think snobbery is probably one of the greatest words, that that if you hadn't gone through the Trinity, or if you hadn't gone through the right people, that you wouldn't get the jobs on stage.
That's because I have no background. I don't know. Obviously I ended up being a stand-up comedian, but I worked in construction
Wow.
There's nobody in art in my family. I didn't go into any sort of arts or whatever, but and then acting just migrated naturally as a result of it. Like, but
Yeah.
so I get blown away when I hear of, we were even talking driving in, like we won't make mention of it, but we were talking driving in like about a particular person whose ego was out of the stratosphere, and nobody was pulling her on it.
Yeah.
I couldn't live with
It's
myself.
It's a her.
Yeah.
Is she Irish?
Oh, do you know what? I'm totally I'm not going to do this to you, but I'm totally going to tell people in the intro. Like, I don't give a fuck.
God.
Like, who's going to pull me on it? Like, but I would lose the job purely based on my principle. Like, I go, nah, come here. Yeah. There's no way unless you're writing the checks, there's no way you're telling me what to do. Not a hope.
Exactly. 100%.
Not a hope. Like, but it was so. It does. It's a place where like. Is it still that way, I wonder, where egos are allowed to flourish so much? Or is it a bit more relaxed, lads? We're all in this together, like. Do you think?
Oh, I think it's far more relaxed now. Even in the space of 2 years, it's so much more relaxed. And it's so much more equal. Like, the new guys in the Abbey, they have, like, really opened up the doors to...
You were in the Abbey, weren't you?
I was in the Abbey just last. Did I tell you? Did I tell you I just
Not
played
enough
the Abbey?
times. You haven't told me yet enough times that you were in the Abbey.
Yeah, for all the listeners, I keep going on about actually doing a play in the Abbey, because you know what? I was delighted.
But you were saying that the new lads in the Abbey, they're
very inclusive, and Raising the Feminist has happened in there now last year and the year before. And the ratio of women to men on stage has just come into a balance, so that's good.
Well, that's the way. Like, I'm all for balance, because in the odd place, then you see it throwing too hard the other way, and you're like, no, you're not doing anybody any favors by swinging it hard the other way, because all you're doing is being as bad as the previous ones.
Exactly.
Level out the books. Just let it level out, because it should look natural anyway.
Of
like,
course,
you know what I mean?
It
should
level
look
out
natural.
naturally.
Like,
yeah,
it does. I know there's always the physics in it is that to every action is a equal or opposite reaction, but you're going to just let it relax.
It's not sexism either, like, that has happened. It's like it's just the way the society was. It was just something but that's why Waking the Feminist needs to not let people just get relaxed about it, and go, oh, sure, that's the way mostly men in the stage, and blah, 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 and there's an odd part for a woman. No, that's not the way anymore. There's, like, parts for everyone. Do you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There is, of course. Like.
So I suppose back to the point is that I never really saw all that, because I was working in a very equal gender field. We could be whatever we wanted.
Yeah.
If we wanted to be drag, if you wanted to be drag king, if you wanted to be a folk queen, is what I nearly was. Whereas dragging up as a woman, and everything was expressive,
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I didn't fully get it at all, because I grew up in a house, and the surrounding ladies around me in rural Tipperary, they ruled the place.
Of course, yeah.
And it wasn't behind closed doors they ruled it. It was outside in the yard, down the fucking... It was all the matriarchy. There was no patriarchy to talk about. Men just...
That's what my mother says. Sure, we always believed men were gobshites. What are you talking about?
And it's the truth of it, though. Yeah. Like, it was just... Like, Dad and the rest of them were just happy enough to tip away at work. But now I'm sure the odd place... But from what I remember... When you got a hiding for climbing on top of a hay barn you shouldn't have been, it wasn't off the father, because he was like, oh Jesus, I don't rule the roost around here, like, but also, like, any orders came all through all the mothers.
Ask your mother.
But there was it was continued. So I never, and like, I've two very strong sisters who went, successful people. So I was flabbergasted. I was like, why would anybody mistreat women?
I know.
Sure, they're just blokes with hair. You know what I mean?
Well, that's because you were a natural feminist and you were raised by feminists, and they didn't even know what the name was.
No, there was no. It was just.
It wasn't labelled at the time.
And if a woman could split blocks with an axe, then let her.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I just never understood it, because I was like, oh, was that it?
Yeah, but there was a lot of people who wasn't.
Of course, and that's and that's the thing. I suppose weren't as lucky as us, like, because you're rural. You obviously were. You were farmers in Leitrim.
Well, my father was an agricultural advisor, and
right.
my mother
like
was
Tiernan's father.
Yes,
Tiernan's father's
he's
an agricultural
advisor as well. But myself and Tommy, actually, we have a lot in common. Father who was an agricultural advisor. We were both in
Bull Alley.
Bull Alley, but he has done Vicar Street 216 times, and I've just done it 16 times.
Oh, well, excuse me.
So Tommy's tipping to the post. There, you see, we should have a little bit more balance. He should have given me some of his gigs.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But anyway, when I meet Tommy, all I ever do is just stand there laughing at him. He's very funny.
That's
not opening his mouth.
Yeah, I don't know where he got those other 200 shows from, but he is a very funny man. He's a very funny man.
Yeah, he's my favourite. I love him. Apart from you, obviously.
Oh, thank you very much. Yep. Thank you very much.
Just got that in quick.
We only got to perform. Well, we're about to. We'll probably end up hating each other by the end of it. Like, but
I doubt it.
No, we won't. But because obviously we're going to be in the Panto together. But we did perform at the Vodafone Festival, and I had to remind you. You were going, I didn't do that this year. I was like, no, you did.
Why are you sure it was this year? I thought it was last year.
110%. I have a photograph somewhere of the two of us.
Right.
I will. I have. It's on Instagram or something. I tagged you, and you even liked it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, but I think I'm right here because I didn't do it this year. I did it last year. You were the host.
Yeah.
This year.
Just gone. In the Vodafone Festival. It was me, you,
I
Fred
did.
Cook.
Oh my God, what am I like? Yeah.
Fred Cook and Steve-O Timothy. And Kathy.
Timothy. Yeah, because I wasn't going to do it and then I did it in the end and I was delighted I did because you were the host and you were the hostess with the mostess and kept us all on our toes.
It was good. It was good. Yeah. It was a good evening. Yeah, it was nice. And you're as well to do it because it's easy going. Like,
it's easy going and it kind of keeps you... It's a party, really, isn't it?
Sure, everybody's delighted. Yeah. You're in a garden in Dublin and in fine weather. Things are
all
right.
It's all a blur because I actually did it for the free ticket and sure I had the free bar for 3 days. No wonder I can't remember.
Sure, that's it. Sure, I could. Yeah, I actually gave you a couple of tokens because I couldn't drink that night. I had to drive that night, so I gave you my tokens.
Well, then it's your
fault. So you went on the lash.
Remember.
Oh Jesus! Now I'm kind of jealous and everything because
it was fantastic and and we done it. Oh, it's a great festival. It really is. And it can just throw on such a great party with Vodafone.
Yeah, there's no Mickey Mouse in there. Sure, it's not like it is the business. Like, did you do Electric Picnic this year?
No, I have done Electric Picnic before. Actually, I had my own tent at the very first Electric Picnic.
Stop the lights.
Called, with drag queens again, called One Sandwich Short of a Picnic.
Brilliant.
So myself and a bunch of drags, and it was myself and my business partner, Warren, who's still my business partner, and we hired Bosco.
This is just getting better and better.
So we got Bosco into the tent.
Imagine people taking drugs and then going into ye.
We're out of it.
That's amazing. Looking at Bosco, Katherine Lynch and a load of drags.
Absolutely. They had a great time and it was the wheels in the bus go round and round. All the mad out of it. Singing the wheels in the bus go round and round. I'm not joking. And I was hosting it.
I have just a picture of this, like, and just people licking the top of their forehead, like, just going, what in the name of God am I
they were
looking
delighted. They were all hugging each other and going, Bosco. And they were coming up and going, Bosco, we miss you. You have to go back on telly. And she was short of saying, fuck off. But, because she was going to do some adult humour. And then she said, no, I'm going to keep it young because it was all
it was from people's
memory.
Youth too, though. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So everyone just
remembers. And which character did you bring to that, or did you just go as Catherine?
No, I was actually Tampi Lillette, a periodically obsessed country and western star.
I'm so glad I asked. I'm so glad I asked.
She sang some. So she was periodically possessed.
Possessed.
So she had won Alternative Miss Ireland, Tampi Lillette.
Tampi Lillette.
Yeah. So she jumped out of a big condom on. Sorry. She jumped out of a big tampon on stage. And she goes, oh, so I'm a little early. And then she goes, jump in the shower and the blood starts pumping. Out in the street and the traffic is jumping. So yeah, it went on like that the whole way through. And then it was all Dolly Parton numbers, Tampi Lillette. And we couldn't find something to rhyme with Dolly. So
you went with Tammy Wynette became Tampi Lillette.
So we'd have water bottles for Here You Come Again, just when I begin. So it was a big melody of Dolly songs, and then I did Ty Tampi at the very end, The Wind Beneath My Wings.
Shit, I wish I went to this show.
And it was in the Red Box in front of 2,500 people. Poor old John Reynolds. It was one of the first alternative Miss Irelands in the pod.
Right.
And and Louis Walsh was the judge. And then Louis said to me afterwards, he says, you're very good, Tampi. Have you ever heard of Bette Midler? I could keep you on that stage. And I went, you can fuck off. Stick your stage up your arse. You see, he has a Shane Lynch now. He could have had me. He could have had a Katherine Lynch.
You're so similar.
I hate Boys Own. That's what I said to him.
Did you?
That's so stupid. What a stupid thing to do.
Yeah, but look, you know what I mean? The wind could blow another way the next day, like, and you could be gone. You know,
called
that kind
me
of way.
Tampi, you witch, from now on. I know him now. Poor old Louis, he's good crack.
What sort of a fella is he?
He's very nice, actually. Well, I get to see the kind of the campside of him where we sit down and have a little bitch.
Yeah,
a bit of a gossip.
Yeah. I mean, he comes across as an all right fella, but you kind of wonder, like, off, when the camera's off, then is he like?
He is super kind of super brain. He's constantly going. He's constantly thinking. He's even looking for the next best thing now in Ireland because he's home in Ireland. So if you're the next best thing,
he must be hungry out. Like, I suppose, mustn't he? Like, because he's loaded. So like,
I suppose he just wants to remain creative. Like, I suppose no matter how much money we make, which I haven't, but you kind of still set out to do what you do, and money should just follow it. You should never be doing what you do for money. So maybe, he kind of has a creative side. Who knows?
Yeah. And then from there, then when did we see the first of the TV? When did you see the glimmer of light of TV?
Well, actually,
then?
There's a nice story to when I started in TV. I was presenting my characters in Panty Bar. And Shea Healy came in to the show, and Marion Cullen, and they were producing at the time. And they were producing a show called The Unbelievable Truth, and it was all kind of talking heads. And I was doing the Traveller character, and I said, I could do the Traveller character for you. And they went, that'd be great. And I went, as long as I can write it, and I am not dropping lines for anyone in RT and all this, the arrogance of me. But actually, probably the truth to my own, whatever art it is called, codology. But so they said, yeah, that's grand. So we did that, myself and Warren, and then RT loved Bernie, and fair play to them. She was a Traveller character. I didn't think I was going to get away with it. And
would you get away with it now?
I wonder. I don't think so.
Starting out right now, because you're you're an establishment now.
Yeah,
Bernie's an establishment now.
Yeah, look, she's established as kind of Brendan Grace doing a Traveller, or Tommy doing a Traveller, or somebody doing a Traveller. Like, I think I get away with it, but I can't imagine a young one nowadays doing a Traveller.
I don't think so.
Yeah. And who knows? It's starting to bubble up again. I think political correctness is going to just get a good kick in the arse soon.
I think so. Everything swings back. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's bored people.
It's bored us to tears, my God. We've become so stupid we don't know what comedy is anymore.
But is it, like, I can't imagine, because the average people like that I meet, and I meet a lot of people, they couldn't give one bollocks about anything that way inclined. Shite. It would seem this little minority online seem to have this, they just take issue with everything. It's like, you're not busy enough.
You're not busy enough.
If you were busy enough, you wouldn't be worried about this shit.
Yeah.
If you weren't, you know what I mean? You're standing around, scratching your hole, and you're going, I'm definitely offended right now.
Oh, I'm so offended. Well, they should have been down in Burr at the Broses. They had this thing, the Bros. The Broses instead of the Roses. There were the Broses from Burr. And there was 4 lads, and they came out as the Spice Girls, and they had boot polish on their faces. And they were Indian bindies on their heads. And I'm like, lads, you can't do that. And they were like, why? And I went, because just go in and put some cocoa brown on your faces or whatever, but don't do that. But the poor lads had no intention of hurting anyone, or no intention of
so glad you said this, because I had this discussion recently with somebody, and if you want to finish it, it was a more...
And that was it. Well, they did go, I said, just for anyone else's sake who might be offended in the audience, just go in and put cocoa brown on. It's okay. Like, you'll have a tan on you, but don't be putting boot polish on your faces. And they went, oh yeah, I suppose we never thought of that. And I was thinking, sure, that's what intent is. Nobody...
That's it. It's all about your intent.
Yeah.
Because I was judging a thing down in Tipperary last year, and I remember... I was there with I keep forgetting her name. She's a very serious woman from RT Sporting News. She's from Tipperary as well, but she was there. And Brendan Cummins, who was a Tipperary hurler, were sitting there. It was a talent thing, but it was to raise money for whatever. And we're sitting there, and the final actor, this gang decide to do Sister Act.
Yeah.
So I heard, as it was Sister Act, I went, jokingly, I turned to Cummins and I went, I wonder if one of them black up for this. He went, hardly. I was actually bang on the money. Had absolutely blacked up. This bloke who was dressed as Whoopi Goldberg comes out blacked up, and I'm watching this, and they did some bit where they all lifted their habits, and they have a letter on a page kind of hung out from each one and said there was a gang of them that said, "We love the Pope" or something. It was the most bizarre, but it was arty. It was kind of arty, and but I kind of went. I wanted it. I didn't say it on the. I kind of was looking, going. The blackface was, but what it was is the 500 people in the room did not see a problem what was going on.
Yeah,
and you're going, why did? And the reason I was given from is because they wanted to do an accurate interpretation of Whoopi Goldberg, and how could you do that if you don't black up your skin?
Yeah.
So, in fairness, the innocence of him.
Innocence, yeah.
So,
but what about no more paper cups from Little Britain wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
You couldn't do bubbles in her fat suit because you'd be like
offending
fat people. You couldn't do I'm a lady because you're offending transgenders. You couldn't do Geraldine from Peter Kay's X Factor one. The one you couldn't do her. There's a lot you can't do nowadays until they just shut up.
But I'm convinced it's only a small amount of people.
It is only a small amount of people. It's
who
because
probably aren't affected by it.
No, because but also the comedy cellars and clubs were always a place where you could stretch the joke to its limit and let your audience, your small, intimate audience, tell you whether you're gone too far or not. Now it's a small, intimate audience doesn't exist anymore to trash things out in, because all they have to do is take one little tweet, one line that you said wrong, and then they have your whole personality annihilated, where a comedian should have a safe place where they can actually stretch it out too far and be told you're gone too far, so come back a bit there, or that's hilarious, oh yes, you can get away with that. It's like any athlete is going to go into to start sparring as a boxer. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to make mistakes.
But it was never
in the ring.
intent to make a mistake.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you need somewhere to make mistakes and to know that you've gone too far, because you don't know how, as we were talking earlier about, a court jester has to have the balls and the bravery of going into the court and actually stretching it so far that he could be beheaded.
Yeah.
It could be off with his head.
Yeah.
But it's off with everyone's head now.
Don't get into this if you're going to be soft, or if you're not willing to push it.
And stop ruining it for the rest of us if you're listening.
But don't worry, they're not. They're not. They are no way they're listening to this. Yeah. But I talked about this, I think it might have been at last week's one, but it's just poignant to bring up that how people can hear, like, they call them the white knights, people that sail in to go, I'm offended on your behalf. It doesn't affect me, but I'm offended on your behalf.
Yeah, exactly.
And there was a woman white knighting her boyfriend a couple of weeks back in the Laughter Lounge. This guy walks up to me afterwards, had a great set, and he was an African-American chap, good, big, tall, good-looking fucker. And he goes, and I knew something was on, because most people are going, great Joe, handshake, really like that, and move on. Yeah. But he was like, he kind of gave that American kind of rub under his nose. Can I talk to you real quick? I was like, all right. Yeah. And my normal, because I'm so cutthroat, I just said to your man, I says, now if you have an issue, take it up with management, because I'm paid up until the 25th minute I was on that stage. Yeah. And I'm done now. Yeah. And I answer for nothing after that. Yeah. And he went, listen, I thought you were really good, but my girlfriend thought she heard something, and I don't think you said it, but I just want to confirm. I was like, okay, this is the fucking weirdest way. Yeah. I said, when you addressed the audience first when you went on stage, did you use the N-word? I'm like, who the fuck uses the N-word? Man, how long have you been here? And they flew in that day. I was like, you clearly don't know Ireland. That's an American word. Yeah. And why the fuck would... at best, I went, how are you lads, when I went on stage. Yeah. That's what I was thinking, man.
No, you said I'm from Navan.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm from Navan.
Yeah. And still to take a bad ear to hear now something else, right? But he says, because my girlfriend, and she was quite a large lady, and she was white, and he was pointing over because she thought, I said, well, tell her to now go back and retrospectively enjoy the other 24 and a half minutes because that word would never... No, for fuck's sake, would you go away at that? I know. But you could tell he went back over, and I was watching, and as I was leaving, I said, did he tell you? And she was like, I heard what I heard, okay? I went, you may have heard what you think you heard, but you didn't fucking hear it. She's like, but her ego wouldn't let her back up the truck and go, Jesus, I'm sorry. Yeah. But she fully convinced, so fucking American too, like, fully convinced she had heard a word that wasn't even close to being mentioned, but she wouldn't back up the truck, like. Yeah. Because rather than her going, sorry, I misheard you.
That's how it all happens, and she goes out and tweets something that you didn't say.
Deadly dangerous. And 350 other people in the room.
Because everyone's looking for attention. Yeah. That's what's wrong with us all. We're all looking for attention. We just happen to find a stage, and we probably have a microphone in our hands.
Yeah, quite literally now.
So go get one.
But that's the thing. Shut the fuck up unless you've got something interesting to say that people would pay to hear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because it's deadly dangerous. Like, but look, again, I don't know would I ever be looking for the likes of that person's, you know, what would you say? I suppose their approval anyway. Or would I ever want them buying a fucking ticket to see me? No, I don't.
No, but they're the extremists that will stop you being able to stretch yourself to your limits.
It's such a pity because they're only really speaking to other fucking idiots. But then I suppose the powers that be are frightened of those, oddly. Because it's the smallest amount of people. Because like I said, your average Joe or Josephine doesn't give a bollocks.
Yeah.
They're just going, that shit makes me laugh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, whatever. But it was so funny that she was so... But she was willing... She was only taking her own word of it. Like, you're a strange person.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I don't know. She had some inverted problems with herself.
But and then when the phone call came in, said, Katherine, you're on for the TV show. That must be some phone call to get, like.
It is, yeah. It's very exciting. It's very nerve-wracking as well because you go, oh my God, have I succeeded? And that's just as scary as failing. And it's now I am going on to a different platform where there's, like our first show that went out, got 420,000 viewers.
Oh my good Jesus!
Which is
that can't be done nowadays.
Heard of now.
Couldn't even come close. The best we did on Demo and Ivor was about 300,000, and at that our jaws were on the floor.
That's 36% share of the population watching the show. So so that was scary. And to be honest,
that's like 5 Croke Parks.
Yeah,
5 Croke Parks all, and multiply that. That's nearly 900,000 eyeballs looking at you.
Oh my God. When you say it like that, I'm scared again.
That's 4 million fingers and toes looking at you.
But so that was scared me a lot, and I loved it at the same time. But we hadn't a clue. We were running out getting, 4 minutes of television running around because it was all hidden camera and kind of pranks and everything like that. So it was very hard got. It was like going fishing for comedy,
Right,
You had to wait and you had to redo things and, you lost jokes and you reeled jokes in and then you lost them at the very last second because something was said.
Yeah.
It was so frustrating. And then that was all in 6-inch heels, 8-inch at times.
Life is always a bit tougher in 6 to 8-inch heels.
Totally. And running around places like Paris going, oh, I'd love to be here on holidays, but no, I'm dressed as singing Bernie Walsh now, eating a croissant like a savage. So it's funny for everyone at home.
Just give me that voice.
Singing Bernie Walsh, how are you all doing there? Now, sure, look at, here I am. I'm doing this podcast in the van, so I am. It's my van. Nothing you can do can take me away from my van. Nothing you can do, it's a 92, my van. I used to have a piebald, the image of you, but I sold it to the factory and I got myself some glue. There's nothing you can do, I've even got a Portaloo in my van. I have a Portaloo, there's stink of it.
Yes. Fucking yes. Oh my God, I love Bernie.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
There's a Hi-Ace over there.
There actually is. And that's a pretty new, that's a brand new Hi-Ace.
Brand new Hi-Ace over
My
there.
God.
We're in a car park, by the way, everyone.
Yeah, it is. It's a decent enough car park. Although I was here a couple of weeks ago and there was a couple of lads sitting over in that corner drinking cans.
Well, that's their fair juice, so we would have sat with them today if they were still here.
Truth be told, yeah, absolutely would. So and then I think that the key to it, because Katherine Lynch, the name Katherine, it's a brilliant way of doing a show, and that your name is in the title too.
Yeah, well, that was kind of
Did you think about that
by accident? I suppose we did the right thing by accident a lot of the time, and because we were changing the names of shows, I suppose you wanted to go Katherine Lynch's Wonder Women, Katherine Lynch's Working Girls, Katherine Lynch's Wagon's Den, Katherine Lynch's Novel Aegis. Well, we didn't ever make that one. Katherine Lynch is really thin.
Love it. Yeah.
Katherine Lynch is going out with a model. Oh, actually, they're just more deluded shows. Have to make them up yet. Actually, be hilarious, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it be great? Yeah,
Katherine
why
Lynch
not?
going out with a model.
Just get the artwork done first, and then we'll see afterwards to see how it goes. Because I was saying it to Spain as well. Like, it's this right way. Like, he had Carl Spain.
Yeah.
Looking for a woman or whatever Carl Spain searches for, wants to rock.
Yeah.
I said, this is the way to do it. Put your name in the title. So afterwards, people you'll just have your name will be known. Cause
he's very funny, Carl. I love Carl. He's just fucking funny.
God, can't stand the guy, honestly. Just weird. No, I mean, we're just at loggerheads continuously.
Even when you're out with Carl, he just never stops.
Never.
His one-liners are amazing. He's like a walking carnival.
Like I said, myself and Carl did the first year I did Panto. We were together. We were basically the two Egypts. Like
I have his part. He was the Wicked Queen that year, I'm sure.
Yeah, he was.
He can be a Wicked Queen
at
times.
Yeah, he's still a bit of a Wicked Queen in him.
Now he's a big closet now. Are you listening, Carl?
Oh, he does listen. He listens weekly. He does. He'll listen to this one because Katherine Lynch is on. Like he will listen to this one. Like, but he's no, Carl and myself. You see, Carl is non-stop.
Yeah.
He is non-stop funny, non-stop taking the piss, and I enjoy it because we were just at each other non-stop. But then
enough about him.
But then he turned to see. I don't think he understood the softness of some folk that are in theatre, like some of the dancers and stuff. They took him so literally.
Did they?
Yeah, like and he's having a go, and they're going, what?
Aww.
And I'm like, no, Carl, you don't understand. These poor folk don't get it.
Actually, I don't really like him at all anymore.
No,
no, he's horrible, isn't he?
Horrible.
He's just a horrible person, horrible human being.
But it was just funny to see, like they just weren't ready for an animal of a stand-up at him. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no, he's very quick.
He's very, very quick. But going back to the show, then who was your favourite character to play? Do you think?
My favourite to play was probably Bernie because she was the easiest to play, and she wasn't as angry as Sheila and as offensive as Sheila. And then poor old Liz. Oh God, my heart was broken for her playing her all the time.
I know, but I loved
Liz.
I loved Liz.
Yeah, yeah. Well, my favourite Bernie was great because she was kind of like she was independent and feisty, and she was singing, and she could kind of like she just took no prisoners either. Do you know?
Was there ever any backlash? As a result?
There was backlash a lot of the time. Like, I mean, the men critics were like, she's lewd, crude and rude. They wouldn't be allowed to write that about me now. Because,
no, I suppose they wouldn't, yeah.
But, yeah, a lot of that were, you know, like, an awful lot more... Like, yeah, there was some lashback, and I'm very sensitive, so I did take... Like, I'd hear all these wonderful things about me and all these great ratings and all these great comments, and then... The one negative one would stick in my head for ages. And I don't know what's wrong with us human beings that we let that happen. But we do let it happen, and it affects us, you know. Well,
it was sure it's like performing to, you could be performing to a room of 400 smiley faces, but there'd be one. There'd be one face. And you might only catch him at the wrong time, or they might not be a smiley person. Yeah. But that one face is the one face that I'm looking at, sticking out from the darkness, going, why are you not smiling like everybody else? And it just might be their disposition, like, you know.
I know, and they just might be... They could have had a stroke.
Yeah.
There and then.
And did you ever get any lashback for doing an impression of a traveller? Or was she so over the top?
She's so over the top, and she's so not stereotypical because she has her own van, she's her own career. She's
actually a powerful woman,
really. She's a powerful woman,
yeah.
You know. And I did have a lovely man, a lovely pavy man, as he wanted to be called, come up to me in, I don't know, some town. Oh, I was out doing the usual, running around in 16-inch heels, trying to find some television. And this man came up to me and he says, "You're doing that all wrong, love." And I went, "Why?" And he goes, "A pavy woman has far more manners than you'll ever have." And I went, "You are so right." And he said, "They're quieter women. A lot of them are at home," and all that. And I went, "Yeah, well, I don't want them at home. I want them out with me fighting their corner." And he says, I get your point there too. So, yeah. I don't think I would have been able to play the traveller if I didn't love women travellers and find them colourful. And all grown up all my life, we had great relationship with our local travellers, you know, and they were fine women and fine women. And they're like the older ones in my town did come into the pubs, and they'd spend, the only thing that bothered me about the travellers was that they'd sing a song that lasted nearly 2.5 days. I'm like, Jesus, I'm only trying to buy a Cavan Cola and a packet of potatoes. Will you shut up? Yeah.
I met a man.
Yeah, that. Yeah. And it was like, do you know what? They're not that good as singers.
Do you know what? The myths aren't true.
Yeah, exactly.
The myths aren't true. Yeah, do you know what? That brings back, I remember I was working down in Wexford one time, and every Thursday evening, I just made friends with this traveller chap. Yeah. He used to play darts, and we used to play darts in the pub because I was just working down this job down there. It was only me and about 20 Yugoslavian lads, like, so I could just point at what was to be done, and that was it. We were in the wilderness. It was. We used to, and your man, he knows I'd have to be fucking gone to another part of the pub by the time the darts would finish, because I'd have to time it right because the singing would fucking start. And everybody loved him, but like he was okay singer.
Yeah.
But fuck me, he would just drag the living life out of a thing, like, and he would be, and you're supposed to sit there and watch on. as a performance, and I was more interested in having a conversation rather than sitting there. Oh, right, so the next half an hour is going to be dedicated to you just singing. Okay, fair enough. Like, but he was a decent singer, but he was good crack now. He had more funny jokes about Travellers than you could ever come up with. Like, he was just because he invented them all. Like, essentially, like just coming up.
And then he has the license to tell them.
Of course he does. Yeah, of course he does. Yeah,
which is great.
So this and have you done panto before?
Never done a panto before, so I'm really looking forward to it.
It's not a step down from the Abbey, is it?
It's a little bit of
a step down. A step down.
Oh my God, no, it's great crack. It's like every job is different. Isn't that what's nice about our entertainment world? Yeah, because I did. What was I in? Oh, I was in like Miss Hannigan last year.
Oh yeah,
I was in
a
musical last year, and then I did Dancing with the Stars, and then I was in Operation Transformation with Carl. It didn't work for either of us, but. Then, especially not you, Carl. But
you said something interesting about that, and it made you so now spiky
me.
About food or weird about food now. Yeah,
I put on weight after it because I actually got a little bit obsessed by food and what I should be eating and not eating. So everything became a little bit of a treat. So, but then again, living in Temple Bar is difficult.
Oh Christ! So you're living in the Vegas of Dublin, essentially.
I know, and it's basically you're looking out and everything is a beautiful sign with lovely food and. Look, you could even eat the signs.
I have to wear blinkers because there's a fat man inside my head going, "Eat that. That'll be lovely. Eat that."
Oh no, he's here sitting beside me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But it's no. But I would devour like I was saying when we lived in town. I was 2 stone heavier than this, like because it's just I couldn't resist it walking home from a gig because you're quite literally walking home, like so it was deadly dangerous, but. And then you did. How did you find Dancing with Stars? Because that to me looked like a fucking slog.
Oh no, it's fantastic. It's
Was
the best crack I ever had in my life. Like Dancing with the Stars, you're getting paid to learn how to do beautiful dances.
Yeah, the paid bit is all right.
And you're getting paid to hang out with beautiful people. A beautiful young man is going to dance you around the floor, and people are going to put you into gorgeous costumes. And to be honest, I don't think I'll ever get over it.
Really?
Absolutely. I think I need therapy after Dancing with the Stars. Life is never the same.
Wow. But I suppose that's the thing. I never really broke it down before, and the only connection that I had was on year 1. We were working with, and Aoibhinn Garrahy was on.
Yeah.
But she was in the panto with us at the same time.
How did she survived that? I don't know how she did that.
I don't know. Like she was driving. When we were down in Limerick, like she was driving back up to Dublin afterwards, like
after
to get in,
show.
like after the you finish at 9 o'clock at night, and then she'd bait to Dublin. The following morning she'd be up at like 6 or whatever, do dance practice, and then shoot back down for the the 2 o'clock show, and then
oh my God,
like how
I don't know how she did that. Now that I'm in this show, the same show she was in, I don't know how she did it. Fair dues to her, and she did so well in the competition as well. But she's a robot, I think.
Yeah, she's not actually a real person at all. No. I saw it there one day. I saw her.
They're quite rich as well, so maybe they cloned her.
I would say, do you know what? Or she's full of steroids.
Oh, I'd say so.
Do you know, like it's that kind of, it's that rich, that rich kind of thing, just, God, I hate those people.
She's a lovely girl, actually.
Aoibhinn was actually dead sound. To be fair, but when I was, because the notion when it popped into my head, would you ever do, I'm like, no, well, for one, I'm not in any way famous enough to be asked to do Dancing with the Stars.
You might
but
be.
2, it was like, I don't know, like, because dancing was never, like, I had never rapped, but then now you're after kind of breaking it down, you're like, no, Tom, you get to actually perform on national TV, you get paid.
Yeah.
And it's actually a decent workout, and you learn a new skill.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of downsides to the thing.
There's no downsides to it. You get fed every day as well, really healthy food.
Jesus Christ, you're selling it to me now.
And you hang out with dancers, and they're all so nice and joyous, and
they're just happy to be busy. Busy. Dancers are always chirpy when you meet them on a job, like, because they're just happy.
And you're baiting off the paparazzi because it's so.
Of course, yeah. Because I
can't talk at the moment. I'm in the middle of a foxtrot. So can you please just wait in an orderly queue, and by the time I get to the samba, I'll be able to talk.
I did know Mahoney on this as well.
Aoibhinn, I love Aoibhinn.
But like he locked in full GA player. Like he went, I'm winning this fucking thing. Do you know what I mean?
He wasn't like that. He enjoyed it.
Yeah, outwardly he wasn't, but internally you knew by him he was like, I want to win this bastard.
Well, he's Kerry, so my father was Kerry. They don't do losing.
How did a Kerry man end up in Leitrim?
Well, he obviously wasn't very good at agricultural advising.
To the 3 cows that were in Leitrim at the time, he went up to...
Well, I think he must have wanted to open a St. Bridget's Cross factory with all the rushes or something. But
he'd not get a bit of drainage, would he not? Like, Jesus.
A bit of drainage. Oh, he probably was down for the headage.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right. Yeah,
the
say
headage
no more.
was a big thing back in those days. But no, and he and his brother actually came from Kerry. They went to college in Cork. They went to university in Cork. And they got assigned.
These weren't big shots, weren't you?
They were all my father's family. All 11 of them went to college and farming training and all that. Well, yeah, college. Yeah.
Big shots.
Big shots. Absolutely. There's doctors, nurses, teachers, agricultural advisors.
Christ almighty, there's road frontage all over the place.
Isn't there?
Yeah. Christ almighty. Would you ever move back to Leitrim, do you think?
I would, surely. Leitrim. My boyfriend's from Leitrim. He's from the same town as me, actually. And we met at a mutual friend's funeral, would you believe?
That's the way to meet.
That's the way to meet nowadays. Once you're over 40,
it's
all funerals, that's everywhere,
yeah.
And so we met at my lovely friend Cormac's funeral. And we've been together since, which is 2 years now.
Powerful stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, like people, I don't know who was giving out. Somebody from Leitrim was giving out about Leitrim there one day, and I pulled him up on it. I said, "Would you stop giving out about your home county for Christ's sake?" Because these are,
you know, sure it was a person from Leitrim. I bet she was Roscommon.
No,
I bet they were on the border.
Could have been, but no, she was giving out like, "Oh yeah, so now there's nothing going on." And I was like, "Listen,
yeah,
don't be dissing your county either." Like at the same time, but I said Leitrim has plenty going on if you know where to look. And when I described where we went for, it was our anniversary. We said we're staying in Ireland. We're going. And Natasha found this place up in Leitrim. This basically a hobbit house, and it was some crack.
A hobbit house in Leitrim. You're selling it.
I'm telling you, it was some crack.
I swear, it's full of hippies. You have to show your passport going into Leitrim, and they take it off you, and then they give you a bag of magic mushrooms.
But I love that vibe. Like I remember we went into. It was Leitrim. What's the Leitrim town we went into?
Leitrim Village.
Leitrim Village.
And yeah, you were in Battle Bridge, I'd say, if you were in with the hobbits and the hippies. There was
what I noticed too, there was a brilliant amount of there was, as in Ireland, there's tons of new and nice cars. But I remember it was a Friday, and I see at least 5 cars in the town that you wouldn't see on a scrap heap, let alone driving around the place passing NCTs. There were bumpers hanging off everywhere. And I'd said it to a mate of mine from Roscommon. I says, he says, but sure, he says, who's going to be pulling them people?
Yeah.
Them people are living out in the rural. They pop into town on a Friday to get their few messages.
Yeah.
And they won't be seen again till the following Friday.
Exactly.
Them people are not being bothered. Leave them alone.
No. Yeah, exactly.
Because you're a good advocate for the rural folk too, like, aren't you? Because I like to shout it from the rafters too, because you could be in Dublin and you live in the amount of people that live in a bubble here, like, and I was, and you're talking to people who are from Dublin, and they give about politics and all the rest. And I was saying this to you, is like, politics. Try meeting somebody from North Offaly and asking them what they think of politics. Because
politics, it's a completely different thing. Well, you know what? Politics are politics. Anyone can do politics, and you, just like every single one of our friends and people on Facebook, are all politicians. But in rural communities, I think charity has to take over politics and just be charitable to each other, and then you get things solved. Because if you want to solve, just say, we talked about the drink and drive, and there, if there's bachelors out in the middle of nowhere who can't get into town, and the politics are that it's zero tolerance. So the charitable thing to do is to pick up your old neighbour and bring them in for a drink. So there's my phone going now. It's probably
this is how popular
3 hours
you are.
in this.
Do you know what I kept you long enough? And geez, we're here an hour. I've kept you long enough.
How long is your podcast?
Typically an hour.
Typically an hour. We better give you another bit.
No. Do you know what? We leave loads of meat left on the bone. Yeah. We'll have another one, sure, during the whatchamacallit, when we're depressed with each other in the middle of it. We'll have a real melancholy one for a midweek bonus podcast.
I'll be giving out then. I'll be well into the Wicked Queen then, so we'll get great wickedness.
So I just got to put this out tonight. So, and if anybody is looking, because I have a feeling you're going to start up a podcast soon enough yourself.
I'd love one. Yeah.
I'll as much advice as I can possibly give you, but this is coming from the thoughts of an idiot, really. Like, as much as I know, I can pass it on to you. But where can people find you? Because you give all the usual handles you would. You're on Instagram and all that.
Don't bother looking for me, because I'm hiding from me.
That's the brilliant answer. Don't you dare follow me.
Don't. I even have a false name on my Facebook account.
Do you?
You can get me on Twitter. Sure, everyone can get each other on Twitter.
Can get each other on Twitter.
Kate Cavan is. Oh no! Don't even tell anyone that. Yeah, I have a Katherine Lynch page and I have a Twitter page and what else? The rest of you know where I am. You're my friends.
There you go. Keep an eye out.
Yeah.
Katherine Lynch, thank you very, very much.
Happy Christmas, by the way.
Happy Christmas. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. And be nice to old people. I'm ambassador for Alone, so go and visit your neighbours.
Absolutely. I'm going to put a link as well for Alone in this, because I was only thinking about it. I'll put it in the description below. People can click through, and if they need to donate over to Christmas. Yeah. Give and be sound, ye bastards.
Well, I am Katherine Lynch Show and for Twitter and Kate Cavan for Facebook.
Powerful stuff. Thank you.
Hey.
My thanks to Catherine Fairplay. That was absolutely dynamite. If you are listening it's your first time listening, go ahead and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to. Like I said, if you are on SoundCloud, be getting ready to switch over to some other podcast app and you'll be fine forevermore. Just SoundCloud. I will be changing from SoundCloud in the next couple of weeks. So go over, find the podcast app. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, or the podcast app also, you can rate it. But go ahead, give it 5 stars, lads. Let's knock it out of the park. The more stars you find, the more better ratings is how people find it. It's nothing to do with actual downloads and stuff like that. It's if people actually rate it more, then it's found by more, and the Buckshot family grows. If you want to follow me on it, if you don't follow me on any social platforms, don't worry about it. But if you do want to follow me, it's easy. Find me at tomomahney.com, or it's the old website for gigs, or go ahead and Tom O'Mahony Comedy will find it on anything: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on Chatty Snaps if that's your bag. I don't do a lot on it, but I will reply to any questions and stuff like that. So go ahead, that's Tom Bear O'Mahony. Everything else, just no bother, lads. I'm here every week, so hit subscribe and you can't really go wrong. Now, I'm going to go lie down for myself because I'm fit to have a heart attack. And I'll see you again on Tuesday. Good luck.